दूर भगावे, वैर विघ्न को दूर भगावे, प्रीति रीति की नीति चलावे, प्रीति रीति की नीति चलावे। हे प्रभु हम तुमसे वर पावे, हे प्रभु हम तुमसे वर पावे। फैले सुख संपत्ति फैलावे, फैले सुख संपत्ति फैलावे, आप बढ़े तब।
सबको
नमस्ते
नमस्ते।
डॉक्टर अन्ना। नमस्ते जी।
नमस्ते जी, सबको सादर नमस्ते। टुडे इज October 20th, Friday, finally Friday, 2023, and we are now going to start our Sandhya session and Mantra Swadhyaya. Our speaker today, as you know, is Ananya ji from Atlanta, Arya Vaidik Temple in Atlanta, and I'm going to spotlight her. नमस्ते अनन्या जी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है संध्या उपासना में। तो
नमस्ते जी।
जब भी आप चाहें शुरू कर सकते हैं।
धन्यवाद जी। So let's begin today's session from Sandhya. In Sandhya, we focus on the qualities and attributes of God, and we praise Him, pray to Him, and meditate upon His qualities, and we seek to imbibe His divine qualities in us. As He is benevolent and well-wisher of all, may we also become like Him. As He is the giver of happiness, we also give happiness to others. As He is the dispeller of darkness and ignorance, we also help others get rid of their ignorance and sorrows. When we implement that in our life, when we imbibe those virtues in our life, then our Sandhya becomes more meaningful. So with these prayers, let's start. Let's sit straight, close our eyes gently. We'll begin by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale deeply. Om. Om. ॐ शन्नो देवीरभिष्टाय आपो भवन्तु पीतये शंयोरभिस्रवन्तु नः। ॐ वाक् वाक्, ॐ प्राणः प्राणः, ॐ चक्षुः चक्षुः, ॐ श्रोत्रं श्रोत्रम्, ॐ नाभिः ॐ हृदयम् ॐ कण्ठः ॐ शिरः ॐ बाहुभ्यां यशोबलम् ॐ करतलकरपृष्ठे ॐ भुः पुनातु शिरसि ॐ भुवः पुनातु नेत्रयोः ॐ स्वः पुनातु कण्ठे ॐ महः पुनातु हृदये ॐ जनः पुनातु नाभ्याम् ॐ तपः पुनातु पादयोः ॐ सत्यं पुनातु पुनः शिरसि ॐ खं ब्रह्म पुनातु सर्वत्र ॐ भुः ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ ऋतं च सत्यं चाभिधात्तपसोऽध्यजायत ततो रात्र्यजायत ततः समुद्रो अर्णवः ॐ समुद्रादर्णवादधि संवत्सरो अजायत अहोरात्राणि विदधद्विश्वस्य विशतो वशि ॐ सूर्याचन्द्रमसौ धाता यथा पूर्वमकल्पयत् दिवं च पृथिवीं चान्तरिक्षमथो स्वः ॐ शन्नो देवीरभिष्टय आपो भवन्तु पीतये शंयोरभिस्रवन्तु नः. Let's take a pause. Reflect upon the divine qualities of God. Pray to Him to inspire us to imbibe those virtues and follow His righteous path. The next Manasa Parikrama mantraha. Ridaku Rakshita Annamishavaha. This mantra says that God protects our material bodies by providing us food grain through earth. May we also learn from the noble qualities of earth. We give it in one and it returns us in thousands. How tolerant the earth is. It keeps its expectations less. May we also imbibe these qualities and rise beyond jealousy and aversion. ॐ प्राचीदिगग्निरधिपतिरसितो रक्षितादित्या इषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वोजं भेदद्मः ॐ दक्षिणादिगिन्द्रोऽधिपतिस्तिरश्चिराजि रक्षिता पितर इषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वोजं भेदद्मः ॐ प्रतीचिदिक्वरुणोऽधिपतिः प्रीदाकु रक्षितान्नमिषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वोजं भेदद्मः ॐ उदीचिदिक्सोमोऽधिपतिः स्वजो रक्षिता शनिरिषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वोजं भेदद्मः ॐ ध्रुवादिग्विष्णुरधिपतिः कल्माषग्रीवो रक्षिता विरुधैषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वोजं भेदद्मः ॐ ऊर्ध्वादिग्बृहस्पतिरधिपतिः श्वित्रो रक्षिता वर्षमिषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वोजं भेदद्मः ॐ उद्वयं तमसस्परिस्वः पश्यन्त उत्तरं देवं देवत्रा सूर्यमगन्मज्योतिरुत्तमम् ॐ उदुत्यं जातवेदसं देवं वहन्ति केतवः दृशे विश्वाय सूर्यम् ॐ चित्रं देवानामुद्गादनीकं चक्षुर्मित्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः आप्राद्या पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षं सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्तु शस्य स्वाहा ॐ तच्चक्षुर्देवहितं पुरस्तात् शुक्रमुच्चरत् पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं शृणुयाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतम् दीनाः स्याम शरदः शतं भूयश्च शरदः शतात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् हे ईश्वर दयानिधे भवत्कृपयानेन जपोपासनादिकर्मणा धर्मार्थकाममोक्षाणां सद्यः सिद्धिर्भवेन्नः ॐ नमः शम्भवाय च मयोभवाय च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Let's rub our palms, this on our closed eyes, and open our eyes gently. Now let's move on to our today's mantra. Let me share my screen.
I have to make you a co-host first.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you are co-host now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you all can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So this mantra is from Rigved, first mandal, 69th sukt, and first and second mantra. Both are combined. Both mantras are of one line. The first line is first mantra. The second line is the second mantra. When they are combined together, they give us a meaningful message. And when Swami Dayanandji also expounded its meaning, so he also combined both the mantras together and then expounded its meaning. The month, and in this suk there are in total 10 mantras and each set of 2 mantras. So in total there are 5 sets. Each set has 2 mantras and their meanings have been given jointly. And this mandal basically talks about how a learned person should be, or how one can truly become learned. It's not merely by reading, by knowing, by learning. What a truly learned person is actually is in reality, this mantra tells about. And the upcoming mantras then talks about how that scholarly person or that learned person should lead his life once he becomes learned, or what qualities, what attributes does a learned person should have. And we know that Vedas, the mantras, the meanings of the mantras of Vedas, they are always vast. They always have a wider scope. So when I say learned, yes, becoming a learned in the spiritual field, in this field of soul and God, Atma or Paramatma ke jagat mein, when one becomes learned, he becomes the supreme one. He is called Brahman. And that is the ultimate learning of life, because that helps us to lead a life which is full of happiness, which is full of bliss, and which helps us to get rid of all kinds of sufferings and sorrows in our life, which is the ultimate purpose of our life. But this can also be understood and applied to other fields as well, because we also lead a materialistic life, a worldly life, that is also equally important as the spiritual life is. So even in this materialistic world, in this worldly life, whether one chooses the path of science, of mathematics, of zoology, of botany, of mineralogy, hydrology, any field, or one starts up a business, becomes an engineer or doctor in any field, when does a person truly call, when can a person be truly called a learned, an expert in that field? So that month, this month, these two mantras, they give us that message that one, how can one become learned in his or her field. And of course that applies to this spiritual world as well. So this mantra says Shukraha Shushukvan. Shukraha, we all for sure have heard about that mantra in Yajurved, 40th chapter, I think 8th mantra, Saparyagaj Shukram Akayam. So in that mantra, we address God as Shukram. Shukram means who is of very high strength, who has power, and but in this mantra, since this is an inspiration for human beings, so in this mantra says a person can also become Shukra. Of course, not to that supreme powers of God, but still a person can also become Shukra. Shukram means a person of strength, a person of courage, a person of strength at the level of soul, not just at the level of intellect, mind, and senses, but at the level of soul. And in Hindi or Sanskrit, Shukram also means Viryavan, a person with virility. The person who, who has his Virya stored, that is not just at the level of body, at the level of gross body, but at the level of subtle body as well, who keeps his energies protected. That person is able to, Shushukvan, he is able, Shushukvan means Shoshayati. He is able to dry up his sins. He is able to dry up his ills and evils, his wickedness, his vices, his bad habits. So the person who reaches to the level of Shukra, he becomes able to destroy all his demeritorious deeds, all his sinful tendencies. And who becomes Shukra, that message is also given at the end of the second mantra. We will uh, discuss about that as well if we have enough time. And then it says Usho na ja raha. Usha kal, pratah kal, the dawn, the early morning. Na means equivalent to. And jaraha, jara avastha, the old age. So in this particular context, we can consider it as the darkness. So as the sun of dawn, as the sun which rises in the early morning, it destroys the darkness. Papra Samichi, how does it destroy the darkness? Papra Samichi, Papra means from all sides. By all means completely. Samichi means some, here means some has several meanings. Here some means united. As in this particular mantra, it means that that sun destroys the darkness of the earth as well as in the celestial regions. Why some means earth and that celestial region here is because sun and earth, they always exist in unison, they always exist unitedly, and they always, their movement in proportion to each other is always uh, in a particular system, and they never break that system. Earth revolves around that sun in a particular direction and at a particular pace. That's why they always maintain their unity among unity between each other, and they never break that rhythm. So as that sun of dawn of that early morning destroys the darkness of the earth and the celestial region, how does it destroy? Divona Jyoti, by the light of its rays. As when sun illuminates, the darkness goes away. Similarly, the truly learned person, when he reaches to that stage of Shukram, when he gains that inner strength, he is also able to destroy his ignorance, papra, by his knowledge, by his strength, by his courage, by all means, by his complete knowledge. And when he is able to destroy his ills and evil tendencies, when he is able to overcome his vices, then he illuminates, he shines forth with his qualities, with his attributes, like the sun illuminates. So this is the analogy given in the first mantra. Now, how does a person become truly learned? The next line says that Pari Prajata. Pari again means Paritaha in Sanskrit means from all sides. So Pari means from all sides, by all means. Prajataha. Jataha means utpann hua, he is born. Pra means prakrisht roop se, he borns in an excellent way, he shines in an excellent manner. It becomes like that he has born again in a very eminent way, by all means. When does it become, when does it reach to that level? So it says Kratva Babutha. This Kratva is the center point of these two mantras. Kratu, we all know, Kratu means Karm and Rat. The one who is constantly engaged in actions, who is constantly involved in actions, who is a man of actions. Through his deeds, one is able to illuminate in his or her life. And when one illuminates, then what happens? Bhuvo Devanam Pita Putraha San. That he, Putraha San, despite being a son, because when we say that somebody is born, so that means, of course, there is a father, there is a mother to him or her. So because he has been born into a world of fame, into a world of glory, into he illuminates with his actions. That's when um, his birth also shines. So despite being a son, despite getting a birth, he becomes father. He becomes the father of Devanam. Here Dev means deities. Deities means senses. Our senses are also regarded as deities because they help us achieve our motive in our life. They help us reach our destination in our life. Without these senses, we are not able to experience the outside world. Without these senses, we are not able to sense the outside world. We are not able to hear, listen. We are not able to see, taste, and so on. So, and without this experiential knowledge, we are not able to rise ourselves in life. And the one who becomes a man of action, he becomes the man of wisdom, and he, despite being a son, he becomes fatherly figure, he becomes an elderly person. So whom do we call as elder? Whom do we look up to as a father? The one who is learned, the one who can guide us, the one who can protect us, the one who can teach us. So that person, when he becomes by his actions truly learned, he can also teach others. Now let's see the importance of actions. Why this Kratva part is highlighted or emphasized in this mantra. Why? How can a person become a truly learned, or how can a person become a man of wisdom with his actions? Because we have always heard Rite Janat na Mukti, that without knowledge one cannot achieve salvation. We have always considered knowledge as of prime importance. I am not belittling the importance of knowledge. Yes, knowledge has its own role, because without knowledge, our direction is not clear. If I do not know what to eat, what to say, how much to sleep, if my database is not good, then my actions may not bear good fruits for me. But the important point is, we all know that our Vedic philosophy, Vedic culture is based on three aspects: Jnana, Karma, and Upasana. Knowledge, actions, and worship, meditation, or Upasana also means to attain that ultimate bliss, to realize that supreme pleasure in our life, to experience that supreme joy in our life. So, the bridge from knowledge to that ultimate joy, from knowledge to that, to reach to our destination, that bridge is actions. Without actions, we cannot reach there. Knowledge will not enlighten us until and unless we put it in our actions. We can understand it with an example. When during the 18th century and 17th, all that part 17th, 18th, and 19th century, when our country India that became enslaved for more than 1,000 years, were we any less in our knowledge? At that time also, we had this treasure of knowledge of Vedas. We had that purest form of knowledge. And those people who invaded us, who ruled us, be it Mughals, be it the Britishers, be it the East India Company, whosoever they were they more knowledgeable than us? No, they were not more knowledgeable than us. Um, in spite, Indians, Bharatiya have more knowledge. They were more knowledgeable. But where they were lacking, they were not lacking in their knowledge, they were lacking in their actions, because they have become lethargic, they have become lazy bones. They wanted to lead a life of pleasure. They were more involved in the worldly pleasures. They started to consume more and more alcohol and involve more and more in sensual pleasure. They were not interested, and they were not men of action at that time. They were not men of perseverance. They were mainly concerned about their own well being, and they even handed over the ownership of their kingdoms to the people, to the Mughals, or to the outsiders, and they said, you uh, carry the ownership of our kingdoms and simply give us our salary, monthly salary, whatever based on this sandhi, whatever based on this agreement, whatever is our share, just give that to us, and rest you take care. Whatever best you can earn from our lands, from our kingdoms, it is all yours. So the point which what I want to mention here is that irrespective of that knowledge, it is because Britishers, because the other invaders, they were men of action. Their military was so disciplined. They were men of perseverance. They were men of determination. They did not give up in spite of the challenges. They were not involved in the pleasure of their senses. So at that moment, they were able to overtake our nation. That's what happens in current situations, in current circumstances as well. Many a times we see that truth is defeated by untruth. Unrighteousness prevails and righteousness defeats. Why does this happen? Because the people who are on the side of truth, the noble people, they give up easily. They do not want to come out of their comfort zone, irrespective of whether somebody is on the side of truth or untruth. Only that will prevail, only that will win. The people who are of determination, who do not give up easily, who are the people of discipline, who maintain, who are the men of action, and who do the tap, who have that self-control and follow the path of austerities. They do not give up despite of challenges. Did that East India Company or the Britishers or the Mughals, didn't they have challenges? Didn't they have the aspirations for their own pleasure? But they gave up on all that and they followed the path of action. And that's what Yajurved 40th chapter, that mantra also says, Andhan tamah pravishanti ye avidyam upasate, that those people who indulge in action alone, they fall into the blinding darkness. But tato bhuya iva te tamo yau vidyayam rataha. But the people who are only involved in knowledge, who are only involved in head learning, who are not indulged in action, who do not follow the path of discipline, self-control, tap, austerity, actions, who do not become men of action, they fall into greater blindness. Why? We can understand it like action to the knowledge is like road is to the destination. To reach to our destination, that road needs to be traveled. If somebody is involved only in action, if somebody is indulged only in actions, he centers all his fears and hopes on the road alone. He only walks the road and he is not clear about his destination. So he will reach to some point, though he doesn't know in where he to how near he is to his destination. But the people who are only involved in the word knowledge, who are only related to the knowledge part, who do not indulge themselves in actions, they just keep their eyes fixed on the destination, on the end goal, and they do not walk that road, they do not follow that discipline in their life. So they have their eyes fixed on their destination, but they never walk that road and they never come across the ups and downs of that road, and they are never able to reach to their destination. So the people who walk that road, they are in potentially greater light. They might not know that how far they are, how near they are to their destination, but still they are nearer to those people who are only involved in knowledge. So that's why action plays an important role in our life. And I'm again saying that there is not less importance of knowledge, but without following that path, without following that discipline in our life, we cannot reach to our destination. And when one follows the path of tap, when one follows the path of austerity, that prepares him to face the challenges on the path, that prepares him to face the challenges on the next level. The one who has never walked that path, he will never be able to reach at its destination. And doing tap means following that path, being steadfast on the righteous path despite of hardship and adversities, following the virtuous deed irrespective of the challenges we come across in our life. Only those people, only then we are able to realize the truth. And that's what Kena Upanishad also says. That Upanishad says, Tasyai tapo damah karmeti pratishtha vedah sarvangani satyam ayatanam. The people who want to realize the truth, the people who want to reach their destination, they want to build a structure of success in their life, they need to follow this path of tap, dam, and kam. Mere words will not do. And actions here means, and why actions are important, because actions gives us the self confidence, action gives us the experience of life. For example, if somebody tells us, or we know that we should get up early in the morning and get the experience of outside environment, get the experience of that cool breeze, get the experience of that fresh air, even if we know that, but we do not get up and we do not go outside, we do not get that live experience, that will not add value to our life. We will not get benefit from that. We will not become truly learned. We will not become the man of realization or man of wisdom, nor we will be able to share that live knowledge with others. Only when we get up and we put it in our actions, only then it creates an impression, it creates an imprint in our mind. So when we follow this action for 1 week, say for example 5 days in a row, then the 6th day, those impressions, they trigger us to follow that path. Then it becomes easy for us to follow that path and move closer to our destination. That's where actions play an important role. That's why God also says that when a person is on the dying bed and if he curses God for his for his not so good state of mind or state of health, then God says him kritam smar, that whatever you have done in your life, you recall that, don't curse me, and reflect upon that. So if you would have become man of action, you would be you would have met your end goal in a better way. So that's what. And when one becomes the man, when one follows that path, he's also able to control his senses. He becomes master of his senses, and only a person who becomes master of his senses and mind can become shukram. So that's all the message of this mantra is. And if any of you have any question, you can ask.
Please, stop sharing the screen, then you will show up.
Sure.
Yeah, no, now it's good. So anybody has questions, please unmute yourself and then you may ask.
Namaste ji, Ananya ji. Including all those reasons, what you said, we were lazy, we were not men of action. Is it okay to say, but I think the biggest reason was we were not united.
Yes. Yeah, that was
Otherwise, if we see during Emperor Ashok, Samrat Ashok, from Afghanistan to Tibet, it was one Bharat. So we had powers. We were not lazy at that time, if I say, but we were not united. That was the biggest reason, what I think.
Yeah, united was, yes, definitely one of the reason, but Swami Dayanand has also clearly mentioned in the 11th chapter that at that time, that our Kshatriya work, they were not enough Brahman people to guide them, and at the same time, the kings of that time, they were also indulged in the pleasure of the senses, in the pleasure of the outside world, and they were not concerned about the subjects, about their nation. So since they were not concerned about their nation, they were not united. They didn't care what is happening at their nation, at their neighbor state. So because they were more concerned about their own personal pleasures. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can count on other reasons too. This is not the only reason. We didn't have one samrat, one king ruling the entire country. That's the major reason there.
Yeah,
if
universal.
one
Yeah,
person did it,
Chakravarti
then we will be united. Then everyone will fight under his guidance. Whatever we
Yes.
tell them. So there are other reasons we can debate about that later on.
Yeah.
So let us finish this one. So please do the Shanti part and then we can wrap it up.
Sure. So let's close our eyes. Om Deu Shantirantariksam Shantihi Prithivi Shantirapah Shantiroshadhayah Shantihi Vanaspatayah Shantirvishve Devah Shantirbrahma Shantihi Sarvam Shanti Shantiredhi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
नमस्ते जी, अनन्या जी, सबको सादर नमस्ते। आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अनन्या जी, और सबका बहुत धन्यवाद। इस गुड प्रेजेंटेशन, आई लाइक्ड इट, and all the people must have liked it even.
Thank you so
So,
much.
सबको नमस्ते.
so we will see,
धन्यवाद अन्य जी.
we'll see you in 2 weeks. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. There are no further programs today by APSA, so I will see you. No, tomorrow, Saturday. Saturday there is a APSA has a Havan at 11 a.m. and I think Acharya Varun Dev ji will be conducting it. If you have any birthdays or any marriage anniversaries, etc., any important events in your life, please let the management know about it, so they can announce it over there. So thank you all. Thank you for joining. Sabko namaste ji.